Dark feminine energy is a reminder for women to reclaim their power. And on my channel we learn both light and dark feminine energy from so many different characters and real women. And today we will analyze the character Chanel, a character in the Ram Diary, especially from the perspective of femininity and her embodiment of the archetype of the Femme Fatale. Her presence in the story is deeply tied to themes of allure, danger, and the manipulation of male desire. And we will also dive into the color analysis within the movie, see what makes her a dangerous siren, and inspire and fuel our dark feminine energy. And so let's start with point number 1, femininity, beauty as power. Our character Chanel is described in terms that underline her physical beauty. She is introduced as a character who seems to glide through the narrative, capturing the attention of all those around her. Her beauty is not passive, but in charge with a form of power, an element of control that becomes central to understanding her role. And in many ways, her femininity is defined by how she is perceived by the men in the story, particularly Paul Kemp and Jiman, but also by the way she manipulates those perceptions. She is a woman who certainly grabs attention, and her femininity is overtly sensual, but also enigmatic. The traditional markers of femininity, such as grace, beauty, and sensuality, are definitely all at play in her character. But Chanel uses those attributes with deliberate agency. She is not simply an object of desire, although she is often treated as such. Instead, her beauty and charm give her influence over men, enabling her to subtly dictate the terms of her interactions. And her power over men is not entirely stable. And throughout this movie, there are moments where her beauty becomes a source of danger rather than empowerment. I think this duality really highlights the complexities of her character. She is both empowered by her feminine allure and threatened by the same qualities that make her irresistible. Now ladies, beauty is an attribute of the feminine, and beauty as a value was a subject of many philosophical analyses from the ancient to modern philosophies. And I truly believe that we should never disregard our beauty, but rather let's maximize what we have. We do need to remember that our beauty is a sharp tool that indeed can bring both power and put you in many dangerous situations. I think that beauty is a virtue, and this is not the beauty standard type of beauty, but each and every one of us have our own unique physical and inner beauty that we should be mastering. And if you haven't started yet, dress up and go out. Notice how different people treat you and how different you feel. This is exactly the power of beauty. Now moving on, point number 2 is the Femme Fatale archetype. Our character fits perfectly within the archetype of the Femme Fatale. The Femme Fatale is a literary and cinematic figure who uses her beauty and sexuality to entrap men, often leading to their downfall. However, in the Ram Diary, the trope is complicated by the setting and her personal motivations. The Femme Fatale is traditionally a figure who embodies both sexual allure and moral ambiguity, leading men into compromising situations that they cannot escape. And our character embodies this duality very well. Her introduction into the story as a girlfriend of Yemon places her in a position of both attraction and danger for Paul. She represents an unattainable desire, someone who is already involved with another man but whose presence tempts Paul throughout the story. And as the narrative unfolds, she becomes a catalyst for many of the conflicts, particularly those revolving around male jealousy and competition. Yet, unlike classic femme fatales in film noir or literature, Chanel's motivations are less clear. She does not seem to have a big plan or an ultimate goal beyond her immediate desire and the attention that she gets, and this makes her a more ambiguous character. And while she certainly draws Paul into increasingly chaotic and risky situations, her actions seem to be driven more by the quest for freedom and self-indulgence than by any malicious intent. I think in this way, Chanel redefines the femme fatale by introducing a sense of innocence, or at least a lack of premeditated manipulation. However, still her involvement in the story leads to significant consequences. Her relationship with Paul and the men around her provoke tension and definitely escalate conflict. And this underscores the danger often associated with the femme fatale. Our Our character may not intentionally destroy the lives of those she touches, but her mere presence brings chaos. She depicts the unpredictability of desire, making her a figure of both attraction and distraction. I think that after all, the character played by Amber Heard is one who is aware of her own power, and she definitely inspires me to get more aware of seeing my own power as a beautiful and alluring woman. Actually, nothing saddens me more than a person or a woman who is so unaware of her own inner and outer beauty and charm. The one who is so insecure about the way she is as a person. It used to be me, and I can tell you that this work is one that will positively transform your life in so many dimensions. And so understand your value as a woman and your power, and then use it for good things. Moving on, point number 3 is the style and color analysis. In the Ram Diary, much of the Chanel character is communicated through her visual presence. Her clothing, mannerism, and the way she moves through spaces all contribute to her impact on the other characters, and particularly the men who are drawn to her. The narrative often describes her in striking terms, focusing on her appearance in ways that enhance her mystique and further align her with the femme fatale archetype. And so let's start with style. Chanel's style of dress plays a key role in constructing her character. She is often depicted wearing provocative and glamorous clothes that emphasize her beauty and sexual allure. Her style choices are typically bold, emphasizing her freedom and independence, and whether she is dressed in swimsuits while she is lounging by the beach or wearing more refined yet sultry outfits for evening out, her wardrobe choices are always attention-grabbing. And I think this emphasis on style as a form of power is so important. Chanel uses her appearance to command the space around her, and her style becomes a tool of influence. Her boldness is how she presents herself, often in contrast to the more conservative or casual attire of those around her. It actually marks her as someone who exists outside of the ordinary, and so she is a disruption both visually and socially to the environment she moves through. I think also her style reflects the inner complexity. There is a certain carelessness in how she dresses, and also an indication that she's aware of her beauty and the effect it has on others. However, she definitely carries her beauty more casually, as though she does not fully appreciate the consequences of the power that she has. I think this careless sensuality is a hallmark of her femme fatale character. She is aware of her impact on men, but she remains indifferent to the results that might follow. And as I always say, ladies, dress as someone who values themselves, as style really does play a crucial role in how we are perceived and how we feel and show up. And so think about the message you want to convey and wear it. Now let's move on to the color analysis, as it really plays a crucial role in defining her character. Throughout the movie, The Ram Diary, certain colors become associated with her, enhancing her symbolic role in the story. And especially the shades of red, gold, and white show up a lot in the movie and the story. And so, for example, red is the color traditionally associated with passion, danger, and seduction that aligns perfectly with Chanel's role as a femme fatale. When she is described in red, it really amplifies her allure and signals to us that the character is a figure of temptation and risk. The color also amplifies her sensuality, making her appear as a figure of desire, drawing others towards her with a sense of both excitement and passion. And then gold, on the other hand, suggests wealth, beauty, and a certain untouchable quality. It shows Chanel's position as someone who is out of reach. She is desirable but ultimately unattainable, shimmering in a way that reflects the allure of wealth and beauty. The golden details around her also suggest a kind of decadence, a lifestyle filled with indulgence. I think the interplay of red and gold creates a visual tension in how she is perceived. She is both warm and cold, passionate and distant, and I think those colors reflect her dual nature very well. And while she appears vibrant and alive, there's also an element of danger lurking beneath the surface, and so we learn that her beauty and charm are not to be trusted entirely. And in the future, I will make a video about color analysis and the way colors play a role in how we dress, so stay tuned for that. And now, on a final note, as a femme fatale, Chanel is both alluring and dangerous, a figure who embodies desire but also chaos. Her beauty is not passive but active, serving as the catalyst catalyst for many of this movie's conflicts. And of course, her style and use of color further enhances her role as a symbol of temptation and danger, making her an unforgettable presence within the story. Her character also reflects the complexities of femininity in a world dominated by male desires and anxieties. She is both empowered and threatened by her beauty, a figure who is desired but not fully understood, leaving a trail of ambiguity and disruption on her way. And it is through her that we can explore the topics of desire, power, and the value of beauty as a form of control. I do also think that this character lacked more emotional and intellectual depth. We do not know much about her thought process and all, but I think her energy spoke the most. And this is a great depiction of the femme fatale and the dark feminine energy. A woman who is confident and aware of the beauty that each and every one of us has. If you haven't seen it yet, please check my video called You Are So Beautiful and You Don't Know It. And we also explore the themes of beauty, sensuality, confidence, dark and light feminine energy, and more on my channel, so I invite you to subscribe to my channel and join our journey of becoming a queen. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.